Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for May 4th and 5th, 2020. How are you doing? Well, we are on the verge of great shifting, and it's a very disconcerting and uncomfortable time. And yet, can we allow ourselves to vibrationally align and be present with the energy of hope for the future? So we're just feeling this huge shift of the North nodes moving into Gemini, the South node moving into Sagittarius in just the next couple of days. So the nodes of the moon are a point in space where the orbit of the earth, of the moon, and the orbit of the earth, the orbit of the moon around the earth, the orbit of the sun, the earth around the sun, and where they intersect. And they delineate the eclipses. And we've felt the power of eclipses, and it's a lining up of these energies. So eclipses and the nodes have to do with timelines and lining up in our destiny, our future. The North node, how to move forward, and the South node, what's holding us back from the past. So when the nodes shift signs, that happens every year and a half or so. And that is a very powerful energy because it's like, okay, humanity, it's time to put our energy in another direction. So what we've been working on for the past year and a half has to do with Cancer and Capricorn. The North node in Cancer, can we receive nurturing? And how do we get out of these where we've given our power away and take our power back into our own autonomy? And so it's really interesting to feel this shift. And so it's like we're at this big corner. And the feeling is that you can't see, you just can't see. The bigger the corner, the bigger the shift in your life, the harder it is to see where you're going, right? I mean, all you see actually is the end of the road. And then it's like, okay. And it's almost like this feeling of where we're at in our evolutionary moment right now, of that caterpillar in the chrysalis being like, am I dying or am I growing wings? It could be either or both, you know? And so this shift that we're in, this waiting for this energy to shift, and it's of course highlighted by Venus in Gemini, is the North node's moving into Gemini. Venus in Gemini about to take a retrograde next week. And we've got this powerful Scorpio full moon energy just like building and building and being, it's almost like the Scorpio full moon is trying to bend light and shine around that corner so we can get a sense of what in the heck is going on. We're definitely stuck in the dark corner right now. And yet every day, more and more things are coming to light. Clarity is trying to come. This is the thing about Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. It's about wit. It's about thinking. It's about adjusting our thinking. It's about trying to come to clarity. And this is a powerful energy for humanity right now. So today we are feeling, and tomorrow is this exact of Mercury coming up with the sun. And the reason why this is so epic is because Mercury and the sun, the last time they were together was in January during the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. And it's interesting because during that conjunction, this whole world situation was brewing, but it was being hidden from us, right? And so it was like this uncomfortable energy under the surface. And now it's coming to light, right? Mercury, ruler of Gemini, and the sun is, who do we think we are, in Taurus. Now they both just had their powerful conjunctions with Uranus in Taurus. And this is speaking to, okay, who do you think you are and who are you? And what's going on with your perspective? And then we put that with Uranus. Uranus is this higher vibrational, different reality, kind of like energy of new perspective and higher perspective. And then, but in our personal planets, our everyday existence, and Uranus in Taurus, huge energies going on with this Scorpio full moon for these soul groups around your self-worth and where you have allowed yourself to take on the energies of the shadow of this planet and blame yourself for things that have happened that weren't actually your fault. And so this energy of like shining the light on that shadow, on our collective consciousness and our individual experience with the Scorpio full moon, it's a really powerful time. And it's one of those times where I'm sure you've heard me say this before if you followed my work, but it's one of these times where we're being asked, and pretty much this was the whole month of April, which is why I did those meditations, those world meditations. Really good to go back and do those free meditations on Crowdcast if you feel like you need something on that level, because they're speaking to exactly the shift that we're in. And this week is one of those times where it's a culmination of energy. It's this war between negative creating and moving us into the more optimal timeline. And that's what you're here for, right? It's one of those weeks where it's like, whoa, this is intense energy. But also it's like you're landing home to your purpose and what you're here for in broader sense of the term, right? Or in the broader reality of kind of like, oh, and so you're being called right now this week to go into your lodge, go into your meditation 24/7, be present, because we're at this very crucial shifting moment where our collective consciousness, these light worker souls, you got to get out of the lower soup and be like, I'm here for this. I'm here for this. Because if it's like one of those crucial moments in time where we can have effect on the collective and move this into this more optimal ideal timeline. This is happening regardless, but when it feels like what these souls are being asked to do is just hold that vibration of this new earth. We know what we're here for, we know what we're doing, and not let the lower play bring you down, and just make that your work, make that your priority. Know that that's why you're here, that's what you're here to do, and moment by moment be in that ceremonial space of that highest ideal, because it's like a very powerful shifting point, right? So all hands on deck this week. And that's powerful, definitely culminating with the Scorpio full moon. But tomorrow with that Mercury Sun conjunction, like we're already feeling it, but tomorrow it's exact. And it's kind of like the light going on, right? Like, whoa, humanity, we have been led down a road very dangerous and very dark. And it's kind of like you have to go down that wrong, this is how life is, right? You have to go down the wrong path before into the darkness before you're like, oh, wait, no, sometimes it takes a while to get for things to come to light and be obvious. But then you're like, well, thank God that I made it down this path, at least, this far, because now I know that's not where I want to go. It's not where I'm supposed to go. That's not vibrationally right for me. And so this being present with this nodal shift, a new direction for humanity, you're here to hold the vibrational field for that highest ideal and turning the corner. And now the weird thing, the energy, why it's so weird right now is that, we got this Gemini energy and Venus about to take that retrograde in this exact square. And this starts today. It's 3 days of exact square with Neptune and in mutable signs. And Venus is like what we love, what we value, what we hold close to our heart. Gemini is about this communication, about this understanding, trying to make sense of things, exploring concepts and ideas. And but Neptune is like, whoa, just like so out there and really hard to get a sense of what's real, what's fantasy, what's delusion, what's truth, what's lies, and so. And then with Venus, it's about our personal values. It's like this is coming home to our heart, and it's like our world's been turned upside down, and we have to make a major adjustment, and we have no idea what we want. It's that whole thing, that picture of like, okay, the gates are open now. You can come out of your quarantine. You can come out. Well, maybe not. There's a lot of places still in lockdown. And it's like this week, we're going to see the numbers just don't add up. The numbers just don't add up. This is a dark act against humanity. And that's why it's important for you to hold space, because what's the next play in that game, right? You got to play your card, which is your vibration. You know, you've seen what's possible. You've had moments of that higher dimensional existence, and you've got to let yourself do that right now, this week. Nothing else, like put everything on the back burner, right? And so, but it's like this thing of like, okay, we're going to open the gates. And then humanity's like, we've been traumatized, we're confused, we've been programmed, we don't know how to get out of the gate, right? Like, it's almost like my cat, who's like got a cat door, but he's going to go and try to claw at the regular door to be let out. And it's like, go ahead and use your cat door, right? This is where we're at, and very confused. It has to do with this nodal shift. It has to do with Venus in square to Neptune, and it's landing home, right? Like, we have been able to live our life and pretend that we're not in a control-based world, in a control-based society. We're not being kept slaves, told we're free while we're actually kept in chains. This whole mental thing that's going on. It's like we've been able to just ignore that, and now it's like, whew, this is this Venus retrograde in Gemini. So, just facing these truths. And of course, to try to find truth, you got to go wade through the mud of the lies. And the Scorpio full moon is saying, we got to do it. We got to do it. We got to put a spotlight on this, because this place of that dark corner in the shadows, we can't stay there, and that's where you come in, because you've got the spotlight. You've got the third eye act. You've got this potential to see around the corner, right? Multidimensional abilities. You might not know you have them, but this is how your life makes sense, right? This is why everything's been so difficult for you, is because you're magic. And that's one of the interesting things about Gemini. Gemini has a magic to it of like quick shifts of like, whoa, okay, wait. And things coming in that you didn't think were possible and beyond what you could imagine. Timeline kind of stuff. And that's the cool thing, because Gemini has that in the mind, like quick thinking, adjustments on that level. Neptune has it, spiritual revelation, right? And Venus and Neptune together, it's like that earthly love and spiritual love. And can we like merge these timelines together? It means we've got to get out of the delusions, right? And that's this North Node in Gemini. It's like, humanity, you're stuck. You cannot go any further until you face some cold, hard truths. And right around the corner from those cold, hard, dark truths is the light of the future, more beautiful than you can imagine. And so this is your job and your marching orders, all hands on deck this week. And thank you for being here. I feel like we're forming a very powerful soul army in our presence and our dedication, devotion. This is what's made you who you are too. This is what's made you not fit in. This is what's made you not know what in the heck you're doing here. And it's like coming together though in this devotion to the ideal. It's like the ideal is a good way to put it. It's like, because ultimately we're trying to get out of agenda, right? The dark place we've gotten to in this evolution on the earth is because of agenda, right? So if there's bodies, all of the dimensional realities that are above 3D that have been affecting us, controlling us, manipulating us, breeding us selectively with some, agendas, that's all agenda, right? You are here to represent the agenda, the divine will, right? Thy will. That's the ideal. And so, of course, in our little 3D brain, we can't get a sense of that, right? And yet maybe that's part of this, the magic, the Gemini magic of this Neptune square of like, ooh, dark, uncomfortable, sick to your stomach. I so don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing. I don't even know who I am, and then it's like maybe that shooting star, that comet coming through this situation with that divine revelation which is the Neptune energy, but coming down into our everyday thinking, and Venus being able to open her heart, the goddess returning to the temple and receive back that spiritual revelation, which was basically what the Piscean age, the downfall, the dark side of the Piscean age was. We were hijacked from our spiritual revelation, right? And that was controlled. And then it's like, okay, now you have to pay for that. You have to prove yourself worthy. You're a sinner. You got to go to church. You got to do everything right. You got to pay taxes. Then maybe you can have that connection to God. And so ultimately, I think that's what this is all about. But we're in that dark place of course, in the wilderness, right? Where you're alone and you feel abandoned and you have to go into the dark to come back into that spiritual light. And you've been here. You've been on this journey. And it's like you can only be in the wilderness for so long and then you turn the corner. And is that what you're here to do, to help humanity do right now? And you've been carving the way, doing the hard work to carve a pathway so that it's easier for other people. And isn't that beautiful? So hang in there, stick with me. I'll be here for daily updates, and I hope you'll consider joining that full moon in Scorpio live activation. It's $10, and your intention to join, even if you can't make it live, is going to get you your answers channeled, bring us together with our soul army to be present at that point of light, which is the turning point we're at. Humanity maybe coming to see the end of the birth canal. We'll see. Okay. So thanks so much for being here, being present, being you, being devoted and dedicated, making it through all you have to be here with us. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.